The Eyasluna hand cannon is really hot right now, which nobody is surprised by. A classic 140 RPM primary weapon that has the ability to roll with plenty of hot perks to easily slap people around in PvP. Hi, my name is Fallout. Welcome to my channel and click the subscribe button to feel what it's like to go Super Saiyan for the first time. Today I'm going to show you how to farm the Eyasluna hand cannon quickly and repeatedly in the new Grasp of Avarice dungeon. If you're wondering, hey wait, I thought that the new dungeon sadly was not farmable. I've ran it more than one time and I didn't get any repeat loot drops. Partially true, for week 1, the new dungeon was not farmable. However, starting on December 14th, which hopefully is one day after this video goes live, you'll be able to farm the new dungeon repeatedly, just like another favorite farm of mine, the Prophecy Dungeon Farm. I've got a bunch of tips for you today on how to complete the final encounter quickly without working too hard, not to mention the loot table for every dungeon encounter. But before we get going, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Ridge Wallets. These things are beautiful, and I'm glad to promote them on my channel because I've actually been using one myself for about the past year. No joke, this right here has been my actual wallet. A lot of guys I know are still lugging around wallets like this. Big, bulky, floppy, and uncomfortable, doesn't sit well in your pocket, and you gotta move it around when you sit down. As I mentioned, over a year of the Ridge wallet, and I'm just never going back. It's light, sleek, and efficient. It doesn't fold or bulge out awkwardly in your pocket. It's got room for all my cards and a clip for bills when I am carrying cash. They've got over 30 colors and styles on their website, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. Sounds like a Destiny shader. They've got 30,000 5-star reviews, one of them being mine, and each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. Yes, you can buy just one wallet and boom, carry and use it for life. The Ridge is so confident you'll like it that they'll let you test drive it for 45 days, and if you don't, you can send it back for a full refund. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/falloutplays and use promo code falloutplays. Link to their site in the video description, and thank you again to Ridge for sponsoring today's video. Alright, back to the content. First things first, why don't we take a look at the overall loot chart for the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. The only encounter that drops the Eyasluna is the final boss fight. The loot pool for that fight is kind of annoyingly large, but look on the bright side. Every final encounter completion will drop double loot, meaning you have a 2 out of 7 shot at getting a Luna to drop with every boss kill. Other drops include every type of armor drop or the 1,000 yard stare sniper. Here's the only bad news. It's highly likely that the way farming works in the current dungeon is the same way it worked in every other dungeon, which is your repeat loot drops are limited to what you've currently unlocked in your loot pool. Meaning, if you've ran through the new dungeon for the first time on all your characters, but you haven't gotten the Eyasluna to drop yet, well, guess what? You can run the boss fight 100 more times that week, and that Luna is never going to drop for you. Farming will only yield what you've currently unlocked in the loot pool. The first time you run a dungeon each week per character, that's the only time you have the opportunity to earn new items in the loot pool. That could be good news for you though. If you've only ran the dungeon one time so far and you've only got the Luna and a piece of armor, you already got the Luna unlocked in your loot pool and you can keep cranking out repeat runs with really good odds of getting it to drop repeatedly. I hope that makes sense. TLDR, only farm for a Luna if you have it unlocked in your loot pool already, aka if you have one that dropped from the dungeon already. Potentially more bad news. Back in the day, you could hold a checkpoint from week to week. You did that by hanging out in the encounter as the weekly reset rolled over, then you would just load up the encounter, wipe, reload the checkpoint, bing bang boom, and you got the checkpoint week to week with pretty much no work. Bungie didn't like that, which I guess is fair, and now before you can load up a checkpoint and farm it a million times, you have to first go through and complete the entire dungeon at least one point during the week. To make things easier, when going through the dungeon for your first full clear of the week, when you get to the final boss fight, quickly change characters, rejoin your friend's fire team, then load up and wipe on the final encounter. Then change back to the character you've been doing the dungeon on. That way, after your first full clear that week, you already have a boss checkpoint saved on another character, which you can load up and then begin farming, as long as you continue to hold that checkpoint on a different character. Alright, we're going to start talking loadouts and farm method now, and I have to mention the following. Bungie has apparently nerfed the incredibly OP focusing lens and radiant well strategy that we've all been using for a damn long time. If you remember, I recommended using it in my Prophecy dungeon farm video a while back. I found out that the strategy had been stealth patched about a day after recording half of the footage that you'll see today. The way Bungie changed it, by the way, is that now only the warlock who drops the radiant well will have their weapon fire buffed by focusing lens if the target is slowed or frozen. Anybody else standing in that well will not get that focusing lens buff applied to their weapons. Outside of that, focusing lens still works the regular intended way by buffing light abilities, aka supers, grenades, and melees against targets that are frozen. The good news is that even with the focusing lens stealth nerf, the Revenant Hunter still isn't a bad choice if you want to dungeon farm. Why? Well, in the final boss fight, there are two ultra enemies that kind of roam around the middle of the map, a camo vandal and a shank. You don't really need to kill them, but they're incredibly annoying if left alive because they hit really hard. They can F up your run when you're either dunking your debuff in the main crystal or if you're trying to shoot the big bad boss without getting flinched. Therefore, I recommend you kill them immediately, and we found that hitting them right off the bat with a Revenant Super and a Radiant Well together is a really easy, effective method of killing them both immediately. When you've rallied at a banner, run up to where you launched the encounter and stay there at the top of that staircase. The boss will pop out and run to the middle of the area, but if you wait a few more seconds, the two ultras will run out of that same staircase too. Right when they do, you can clap them immediately. Just drop that Radiant Well and chuck a Revenant Super point blank. You can also do it with a Tether Hunter, which also slows them right out of the gate, but the Revenant Hunter was a bit easier. Why use your supers right off the bat to kill two ultras when you should be saving them for the boss? Well, remember that when you pick up those engram debuffs to dump into the crystal later, picking up 10 of those will completely replenish your super. So with that in mind, why not use two supers right off the bat to smoke those annoying ass yellow bar jabronis? You see my point. Anyway, with the two ultras dead, you can now look for the Scorch Cannon Fallen, kill them, then take the cannon. You should already have a few engrams from the Camo Vandal Ultra, which hopefully you've dunked. And now with the cannon, you only need to shoot and unlock 2 energy reactors to get enough engrams to move onto damage phase. Early on in my footage, by the way, I was waiting around with the cannon for my teammates to get all the motes and dunk them all into the middle before I moved forward with shooting the second energy reactor. You should not be doing that. If you're the Scorch Cannon teammate, move quickly. We're supposed to be farm in here, fully charge up one reactor, then when it's unlocked, immediately rotate over to another and keep it going. When you've gotten all the engrams from both reactor drops, head to the middle and dunk them to begin DPS. Here's where we get into what weapons y'all should be bringing. First and foremost, I want to say that yes, there will be more options out there that are going to work than what I bring up today. There's usually comments in the YouTube comment section down below along the lines of, well, what about, I don't know, 3 Falling Star Titans? Sure, that in addition to good weapon picks will definitely work. I just want to recommend things that most teams are able to do without being super pigeonholed to things like 3 Titans or whatever. All right, with that out of the way, why don't we talk Gallarhorn?
Fallout, you said you wanted to talk options that most players can use, and Gallarhorn is paid content.
Well, yeah, but the dungeon is also paid content. Therefore, anyone who can play the dungeon can also acquire G-Horn, get wrecked. Anyway, a team of 3 Gallarhorns can work, and yes, even if all 3 of them don't have the exotic catalyst unlocked, which you definitely should unlock because it's amazing. When I say 3 Gallarhorns will work, by the way, I mean in combination with a Titan Bubble and a Tether Hunter. You will notice that we also have a Warlock and a Radiant Well. That doesn't stack with Bubble, we're just keeping that on the floor for health regen purposes. Even if all 3 of you don't have the catalyst, yeah, you can get it done. Just be sure to maybe bring a strong special weapon backup, like a fusion rifle with Vorpal weapon, if and when you run out of G-Horn ammo. If you're gonna go the G-Horn route, I strongly recommend you also bring the following: 2 rocket launcher reload armor mods for faster rocket reloading, the Lunafaction boots for even faster rocket launcher reloading, 2 rocket launcher reserve mods on your chest piece, which will take your rocket ammo count from 7 up to 9. I should also mention, if you're gonna do a triple rocket launcher strategy, you really only need just 1 G-Horn because G-Horn gives other nearby rockets Wolfpack rounds. YouTuber Error made a video showing off damage numbers with other rockets when paired together with just 1 G-Horn. It's worth a watch for sure, go check it out. But the very abbreviated TLDR is that you'll get even more damage output when using other rockets in tandem with G-Horn, including Vorpal rockets, lasting impression rockets, and explosive light rockets. Therefore, if 3 Gallarhorns without the catalyst will work, obviously you'll have an even easier time if you use just 1 G-Horn paired together with 2 Vorpal rockets, 2 lasting impression rockets, whatever. Just make sure you've got Lunafaction boots on the Warlock and double rocket reload armor mods to really crank out your reload speed as high as it can go. Even though G-Horn will definitely work, I have to say that I think the way easier method is Sleeper Simulant. Yeah, if you haven't picked it up since the dungeon dropped, remember it got an extra damage buff in PvE, like for real this time. With the rocket launcher strat, yeah, it's possible to F up and not kill the boss in one phase if you don't move quickly enough, if you don't reload quickly enough. With Sleeper, yeah, it's kind of hard to not get the job done. G-Horn will also eventually run out of ammo, leaving you to finish up the boss with fusion rifles or other special weapons. With Sleeper, trust me, you're gonna have plenty of ammo left by the time the boss goes nighty-night. However, if you're gonna go the triple Sleeper route, which I recommend, remember to not bring a Tether Hunter and instead go with the Revenant Hunter.
But you said the focusing lens strat got stealth nerfed, buddy.
That is true, it did, but remember that Hunter Tether and Particle Deconstruction don't stack together. Tether will get immediately overridden by Particle Deconstruction because Particle Deconstruction is the stronger debuff overall, so you would essentially be taking a super and throwing it directly into the trash can. So because your Tether has no power in the land of Particle Deconstruction, might as well bring a Revenant. Yeah, you could also maybe bring a Celestial Nighthawk Hunter, that would be good damage too. But remember, at the beginning of the boss encounter, the Revenant Hunter super immediately froze those 2 ultras, making the entire fight go way quicker. Of course, you could also slam those 2 ultras with a Falling Star Thunder Crash Titan. I understand that not every fire team is going to be Warlock Hunter Titan. Do whatever works best with your fire team. If you don't have a Sleeper Simulant, which you should by the way, because you can pick it up for dirt cheap at the tower, yeah, a legendary linear fusion rifle will also work. I think a lot of people out there have a Vorpal weapon Threaded Needle, which works great, but remember, Vorpal weapon did get nerfed. It's only 10% damage on power weapons right now instead of what it was, which was 15. You can also use a Reed's Regret with firing line if you have one. Yeah, Reed doesn't work with a focusing lens, but hey, that only works for the Warlock now anyway. GG. Anywho, after the boss is dead, load up that checkpoint again on whichever character of yours is holding the checkpoint. If you're brand new to dungeon farming, keep in mind that one of your characters should be holding the checkpoint and loading it up, then all of your friends should load into your fire team, then you change to your other character who you plan on farming the checkpoint with. One character holds the checkpoint, the other character farms the checkpoint. That way, you never lose the checkpoint. And there you go, a hopefully straightforward farming method for you to take advantage of. This boss fight is really easy, so good luck to you, and may RNG be with you. Like today's video if you have a free moment, I really appreciate that, and it helps my channel a bunch. Also, click that subscribe button and help me with my oh so humble goal of becoming the sole ruler of the world. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.